Welcome to our highlight reel for Release Wave 25.2. This update is packed with powerful enhancements, fresh features, and brand new components spanning both our JDBC and SSIS toolkits. Let's dive in and explore what's new. With this release, we're excited to introduce support for SQL Server 2025. Now, you can seamlessly set your project's target and deploy directly to an SSIS 2025 server. First up, let's dive into the newly introduced services in our JDBC driver pack. This release brings a wide range of API support, giving you the flexibility to pick exactly what you need. Kicking things off, we start with Active Directory, where you now have the choice to work with either on-prem or Azure Active Directory. For our example, let's walk through Azure AD. Here, OAuth authentication is supported with 3 modes to choose from: authorization code, certificate, and client credentials. We'll go with the authorization code type. By clicking on Generate Token File, the token generator window opens. Simply enter your tenant ID and client app credentials, along with a redirect URL, scope, and optionally enable PKCE if it's required in your setup. Next, click on Sign In and Authorize. This opens your default browser, where you'll log into your instance and authorize the OAuth app. Once completed, a code will be returned along with the redirect URL. Enter that complete URL into the token window, set a password, and save, and your token file will be created. Finally, click Test Connection to verify that everything is working smoothly. Moving over to another supported service, which is the LDAP connection. Here, you can enter your server address, set the port, and choose the authentication mode from the list. Enter the credentials as required. In our example, we are providing using a certificate path to manually provide the certificate for authentication. Click on Test Connection to verify that the connection works. One of the major highlights in our JDBC drivers this release is support for the widely popular GraphQL connections. You'll find flexible options to customize your connection with various properties that help streamline authentication. For example, start by entering the base URL and required fields on the General page. Then, on the Authentication page, choose your mode. Let's begin with Basic Authentication. Simply enter your credentials. And then move to the GraphQL settings, where you can configure query and pagination options. You can either pick values using the ellipsis button or enter them manually, based on the API documentation. Back on the authentication page, another popular option is OAuth. With a single click on Generate, the token generator window opens, letting you set the grant type and other details to create OAuth tokens. And finally, there's the custom token approach. Here, you can provide a file with a curl command, or enter the command manually. The response will return an access token, which can then be parsed using JPath, XPath, or even a regex expression for authentication. With that, let's now move over to our SSIS toolkits to explore some of the other major features and components included in this release. Starting with the Salesforce Connection Manager, we've introduced support for OAuth authentication when working with the SOAP service endpoint. When creating a new connection manager, you can now select SOAP and choose from 3 OAuth types: authorization code, which generates and uses a token file; client credentials with certificate, using the client ID and certificate thumbprint; client credentials with username and password, where you'll provide a client ID, secret, username, and password. And of course, basic authentication is still available as the legacy option. Let's take the OAuth authorization code as an example. By clicking on Get New Token, you'll open the token generator window. Simply enter the client ID, secret, and redirect URL, then choose optional settings like PKCE or cross-site request forgery protection. Once that's done, click OK. Follow the prompts to log in and authorize, and your token file will be ready to go. Now, let's move on to a new feature in our SharePoint components. In the SharePoint source component, we've added support for output time zone, giving you control over how datetime fields are output. You can choose between local system time or UTC, depending on your needs. On the flip side, the SharePoint destination component now supports input time zone. This lets you decide in which time zone datetime values are sent when writing to SharePoint endpoints, again with the option of local system time or UTC. Next up, let's explore the SSIS Productivity Pack. We've added support for Azure Managed Identity Authentication across several connection managers, including Azure Key Vault, Microsoft Graph, HTTP, OData, and GraphQL. Managed Identity provides a zero-maintenance credential solution for Azure-hosted resources. That means no more manual secret updates in your ETL workflows, and no need to embed credentials, making your integrations both simpler and more secure. Another highlight is the brand new error handling page in our premium flat file source component. You now have 3 options to choose from: fail on error, redirect rows to error output, or ignore error. With the redirect rows to error output option enabled, error records can be seamlessly redirected and captured in a destination, giving you greater control and flexibility in handling data issues. Next, let's look at the updates to our Amazon S3 Connection Manager. We've added support for the Assume Role feature, allowing you to simply enter the role name in the provided option. With Assume Role, an IAM entity, such as a user or another role, can temporarily take on the permissions of a different IAM role, giving you greater flexibility and security when managing access. We've also introduced new components in the SSIS Productivity Pack for connecting to and working with the Microsoft Advertising API. From the list of connection managers, simply choose Microsoft Advertising from KingswaySoft and enter your account details, such as customer ID, customer account ID, and developer token. OAuth authorization code flow is supported here, and with a single click on Generate Token File, you'll open the token generator. At this stage, you have 2 options. Try the connection using the KingswaySoft app, perfect for quick testing, but not for production use. Or select My Own App to use your own credentials, following the familiar token generation flow available in our other supported services. This generates the token and lets you set a password for it. From there, head over to the SSIS toolbox within a data flow. Drag in the Microsoft Advertising source component, select your connection manager, and then choose the service, operation, and configurations you need, which will vary based on the service selected. The Columns page will show you the available fields to read and pass downstream. In the same way, you can use the Microsoft Advertising destination component to write to the endpoints. Just connect it to your source, pick the service and endpoint, configure your options, and map the metadata on the Columns page to push your data with ease. Lastly, we have a couple of newly added REST endpoints, namely Klaviyo and Intercom. We hope this has helped in understanding the latest features, products, and enhancements that we offer. KingswaySoft, data integration made easy.